good.
Oh.
Happy 4th of July.
All right. Welcome to the second episode of Off the Map podcast. It is currently, what time is it?
8:25.
It is 8:25 on the 4th of July. We are chilling. It's been a while since our last post, but we are back on the wagon. Yeah, how's everyone's 4th going? Mine's going all right. I'll let Marco start off.
Oh, I've literally done nothing today besides pick you up, pick Josh up. It's raining over here, so it's kind of boring. But all I've really done is just watch YouTube all day. Josh,
all I've really done is work.
My 4th has been it's 8, like I said, it's 8:25. 4th of July. Family's been partying all day. I'm stone cold sober. Which sucks ass, to be honest. But that brings me to my next point, because me and Marco here have made a little bet, and we're doing a little bit of a cleanse of sorts. So we both challenged each other to go 2 weeks, me without drinking at all, and him without eating any fast food, because those are our two vices. And we're on what, day 3?
Yeah,
Day 3. So that's why I'm not drinking, even though it's the 4th of July, which is tragic. But I had an okay time. I'm glad to get out of there. But so basically we're all just not doing anything for the 4th of July. So we figured, why not get together and make the podcast? So I think the first thing I want to talk about is this bet, actually, because I was pretty excited about it. I'm pretty confident that I'm either we're both going to last the 2 weeks. If we both last the 2 weeks, we don't know what's going to happen. The deal is whoever caves first has to pay the other person $20. And I'm pretty confident I won't cave. And Marco's also pretty confident he won't cave. So we're worried that 2 weeks are going to go by and then neither one of us are going to have caved. And we don't really know what's going to happen at that point because we haven't really thought that far ahead.
Nope.
So I'll let Marco talk about how it's gone for him so far. It's only been 3 days, but and his thoughts about the future of it, because I'm curious how he thinks. There's certain things I'm curious how he's gonna deal with them. So I'll let him.
Well, I mean, the way this whole thing kind of got started is, I don't remember who started it. I think I did, and I was like, hey, Kyle, we should do like 2 weeks, no drinking. And me, I eat a lot of fast food, and we kind of had to I don't know, look at the rules a little bit, like what does that entail. So like, I'm allowed to eat at restaurants, but if I go somewhere, which I don't do very often, I don't really go to restaurants, but if I did, I have to have something extremely healthy. I eat a bunch of fries, and so like I can't have any of those. And basically the way I take it is everything has to be home cooked. And I've done it before when like trying to just get healthier and lose some weight, or if I was training for something. And for me right now, it's going pretty well, except when it's like 3 in the morning and I just want to go to McDonald's, get a quick snack. But I think for the most part, I'm going to go both 2 weeks without any problems, I guess. Yeah. I think the only other thing about this bet is we both get one cheat day, and I already know when I'm going to use mine. I don't know if, Kyle, if you figure out when you're going to use yours yet.
I have definitely not figured out when I'm going to use mine yet. It's tough. I was thinking about using it today because it's the 4th, but I decided not to because I didn't have any great plans, and my family fucking turned up, though. It was ridiculous. Someone threw up in my bathroom, and keep in mind, my parents are like old. They're like mid-50s, like all their friends are older than they are, and these people are still just turning up. Like some guy threw up in my, I think it was a guy, I'm pretty sure I know who it was, but he sent it a little too hard, and he threw up. So I was out there trying to deal with all that, just sipping my water, eating my baby carrots, and it was awful, to be honest with you. It was not fun at all. So I basically just spent most of the time in my room just waiting to come here. But I think if I could get through today relatively easily, the next 2 weeks shouldn't be too hard. I don't know when I'm going to use the cheat day. It was a bad 2 weeks to pick to do a sober cleanse because there's just so much. Everyone wants to go out, and it's like I feel like it's gonna be difficult and tempting, but I definitely have enough willpower to just be like, nah, I'm good. I just won't probably have as much fun, which is fine. But the idea is just, it's the summer, and I was really fully resigning myself to the dad bod there for a while. I was in the best shape of my life in February. I mean, I was like, I almost had my 6-pack abs. I was pretty ripped, and then I partied a lot as the semester went on into the summer, and I lost that. So I want to get that back. So that was my primary goal for doing the cleanse. I'm pretty confident I can go the 2 weeks. We have one cheat day. Marco knows when he's using his. I don't know when I'm using mine. I feel like I'm going to save mine as long as possible because I feel like that's a nice, I have the option. Like anywhere I go, anytime I go out, I can be like, well, if I want to drink, I can. But once I use that, then I think it'll be harder because it'll be like, I can't do that. But I don't know. I feel like I can definitely get through the 2 weeks. I think Marco can too. That's why we're kind of concerned about what's going to happen after the 2 weeks.
Actually, so, because a lot of our friends and family know we're doing this, so, Josh, who do you think do you think one of us is going to break? And if so, who do you think is going to break first?
I'm gonna have to go with I don't know. Maybe. Oh man, that's a tough one because it's like your vices. So it's like the things you can't. I don't know. I can imagine both. Like I can imagine a situation where Kyle is at a party or something, and then Kyle's just kind of like, Marco won't know, or Marco's not here, and like just like have a little sip or something. I also feel like Marco, he's gonna be hanging out with like someone, and like be like, oh well, you know what, just some fries. Like it's just like some chicken strips. Like I don't know, but man, if I really had to pick, I would have to go with. I'm gonna go with Marco. Actually, I'm gonna go with Marco. I'm gonna say, I feel like Marco is just gonna be like, you know what, just a couple fries, like really, it's not even fast food. That's his vice. It's just French fries. Like he just really loves French fries. Like even when we do go out to fast food restaurants, he doesn't even really get like a burger or like chicken nuggets or something. Like he just gets fries basically, and like a drink or whatever. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Marco. I don't know. No, I want to change my answer because no. I'll keep it.
That's actually a little interesting because for the most part, everyone thinks like Kyle will be the one to cave first. Yeah. But that is very true. I do. It's mainly fries that I go to fast food places for. So convenient.
Yeah, I told my mom about this, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna lose," and I was like, "Jesus, Mom." But she was just because like me and my mom kind of have the same mindset. Like, I mean, we both like when we go out, we like to drink. You know what I mean? And that's primarily only on like the weekends. So it's like during the week, it's really easy for me to be like, oh, 2 weeks is easy. But then once Friday or Saturday comes around and like plans come up, it's like I feel like I'm going to want to drink because that's just like what I'm used to doing. I mean, basically ever since I went to college, it's like that's just what I do. It's like on the weekends, I drink and I have a good time. But so it's going to be hard to break that habit. Or I'm not breaking it. I'm just taking a 2-week hiatus from it. But I feel like it's the middle of summer. That's the hard part. Is it's like I don't want to say waste those weekends because obviously you can have like a good time without going out and drinking. But it's just like that's what I'm used to doing almost. So it's like I need to find like something else. I might go to like an amusement park or something. Something like some PG shit. I want to do some family friendly activities.
I feel like either way, you're just going to have less fun if you can't drink. Oh. You make it, considering that I usually take you to like kickbacks and stuff, and I don't drink. Yours like, what do you do?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to have a substantially less amount of fun. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, if it's like a badass party, right? Maybe you don't have to drink just because, like, the environment will be super cool. Or if you're at, like, a club, because then you can, like, dance. You can kind of, like, just feel the atmosphere. But I feel like at like a kickback or just like hanging out with your buddies and drinking. Like if you're not drinking, I feel like it's just like you're just sitting around. And I mean, I don't like I tell people this all the time. Like when people want to hang out, I'm like, we either like during the week. It's like if I'm hanging out with you, I want to do something. And if I'm not doing something, I'm like bored because I can do nothing on my own. So I feel like some people just like being in the company of other people, but like me, I don't like hanging out with people if we're just like sitting around. I like to do something. So I feel like if I was at a kickback, that's gonna be the hard part for me because then I feel like I'm not doing anything because I'm just sitting there, like watching my friends get drunk, and I feel like that's like it was hard with my family too, like just like the old, like neighbors and shit because they were all getting drunk and I was just like, I mean, this is like. It's just substantially, I feel like, less fun. Once you put yourself in that mindset, like you two, you probably definitely not in that mindset because you don't drink. So it's like you're just used to the sober mindset even at parties. So I feel like, that's interesting. I kind of want to like get a perspective of that. See how much I'd really enjoy that lifestyle if I wasn't like drinking so much at that event. You know what I mean? So I'm going to ask both of you. I'll start with Josh. Well, Josh doesn't go to parties, really. He's to quote his song,
No, I was not expecting.
never been the party type. Nah, can't relate. So I'll let him talk about that because I think that has a lot to do with both of y'all being sober, definitely. Because I feel like I'm gonna report back after this weekend and say like, what? I don't think I've ever been to a party sober. Definitely not. Or at least definitely not left a party sober. So I'll let you talk about that and like your viewpoints on it.
So I guess as for me, I don't really like parties, because it's to me it's like, it's such like a forced thing. Like it you show up at a party, you're forced to drink or you're forced to do something, and I don't know. I just like I don't really like I like being in control of like my own actions, and I just feel like getting drunk, like, oh man, I don't want to. All right, I'm gonna go here. It's gonna get dark. Like I'm not gonna get too into it. I like to be a private person. I don't really like to share my feelings with like anyone anymore. But generally speaking, I will say that um, alcohol in general, I've always seen it in a bad light. And growing up, alcohol was always associated with something negative. And in the past like year or so, I have seen I've seen someone that I care about. They use alcohol as a vice, and it's like taking over them. So I just don't want to mess with it. That's just pretty much it. I mean, I will like. I mean, drinking's fun. Like I get it. Like I want to start doing it. Like not like to get drunk or anything, but just to have fun, like the social setting part of it. I think that's kind of cool. But that's my perspective.
I mean, I've gone to a lot of kickbacks, parties, stuff like that, because I usually take Kyle, and I'm usually the designated driver because I don't enjoy drinking. I've tried it. Everyone tells me, well, you don't drink for the taste, you drink for the effects. And I'm just, to me, I don't see the point of getting drunk. I mean, I've seen a bunch of people throw up, pass out, and to me, that just doesn't look fun. I've thrown up a lot in my life from like stomach issues and hate it every time. And if I have the option of, hey, do this and you may possibly throw up, because everyone tells me, well, you're not going to throw up. You're going to drink till you're like tipsy a little, maybe a little drunk, but not to the point where you throw up. And me being me, because I normally always get asked to have a drink with everyone when I go, even though I always say no, just not my thing. I feel if you get tipsy, because people talk about like, oh, you have like no, your inhibitions go away and stuff like that. And if I'm at that point, for all I know, someone could offer me a drink. I'll be like, okay, and then start chugging it. And next thing you know, I'm throwing up, and I'm gonna hate it. So I just don't see the point of it. It's just not my thing.
No, that's both of you put some drive some solid points. Josh, I could definitely see. Like I've seen a lot of people like kind of fall. Like that's the thing with alcohol is it's like a very like I feel like it's a if you like it, it's like dangerous because it's like you can easily like lose track of like how much you like it and then like you start self-medicating stuff with it and like that's a slippery slope. You don't want to go down that slope. And then with Marco, that's the part where I kind of have a little more difficulty understanding. Because it's like, I don't know. Like, I remember I went to college. Before college, I drank a couple of times, but I didn't really drink in high school. In high school, I didn't really do much of anything because I was just like a scared person in general. Just nervous about most things. And like cared too much about what people think. And then I went to college and I'll remember like I went to like my first like college party and I just got like, I remember very clearly I was playing like shot pong. Which is, if you don't know, it's like beer pong, but like with shots. And I got like extremely fucked up. And I just remember like it was like carrying like a bag of fucks, and then like I just like when I drank, all my fucks just like disappeared. And so it was just like it was dope. And then ever since then, basically like I liked partying in college. You know, I was a big party guy. But until recently, I'd say so. It's been about 3 years. And I just love partying on the weekends. But going back onto what Josh said, I feel like it's one of those things where you have to watch out because you start to associate it too much like with having fun, and then like you kind of forget how to have fun like without it. So it'll be like what I said just right now is like, you know, it's the 4th of July, you know? Like I should be able to just enjoy that. I shouldn't have to be like, "Oh, sucked ass, I was sober." Cuz like it is funner if you're like, you know, if you're drinking, but it's like, you know, you shouldn't have to do that. But I'm lucky in that I'm a very self-aware person, and my dad too. Like my dad was like a heavy drinker, and then like he had me and he like quit, and then like my whole both sides of my family drink a lot. But I'm very self-aware because of that, so I'm like I know to like, you know, be careful, and frequently I'll take like breaks where I'll just be like, all right, I just need to like take a break and like, you know, just be chill because I don't want this to become like a habit for me. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you have like the self-awareness and you're like responsible about your drinking and you know like when to take a step back and be like, all right, you know, I don't want to use this as like a crutch or a vice or whatever, then I feel like you can enjoy it safely. But I feel like the problem is when you start using it to like deal with your problems, because then it becomes like the only solution. Because I mean, I've done that before. I'll be like upset about something. I was like, oh, if I just drink it'll go away. It'll be fine. And it's true, but at the same time, it's like, it's easy to let that turn into like a habit. So you have to be like self-aware is the only thing with drinking. And I guess that's just with any vice in general. You have to be self-aware. You can enjoy like a Whataburger, you know what I mean? But if you eat Whataburger 3 times a day, every day, you're going to get fat. There's no way around it. You have to be self-aware enough to say like, look, I can eat Whataburger every now and then. Sometimes I can even binge on it, you know, have a cheat day. But I have to, you know, like there have to be times where I eat healthy and I have to say like, look, I don't want to keep, you know, binging the Whataburger. So I feel like that's my opinion on it. But Marco, I kind of get where you're coming from, but then I'm just like, I feel like you would just have more fun. But I feel like that is kind of like I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I know what you mean by like at one point when I went to a party, I was just thinking like, because I'm a very anxious person, I get nervous around people and not as social as I could have been in high school. And I remember going to like, it was, I think, a graduation party and thinking, wow, I need to like get drunk or do something. And then magically I'm going to talk to everyone and be social. And I kind of just, I mean, obviously I couldn't at the time because I was driving myself, and you should never get drunk and drive. But I just kind of lost that mentality. I try to be more social now at kickbacks. And I do know what you mean by being sober at a kickback or party. It is
Sucks. It's the worst.
it is very okay, it's kind of two-sided. At the beginning it's okay because not everyone's been drinking and everyone's talking to you. But as the night goes on and people get more drunk, it's probably because I don't talk as much, or I think I have something that everyone would talk about with me. Like, people stop talking to you when they get drunk because they have no idea what the fuck's going on. And well, not because they don't know what's going on because they're drunk, but because everyone is doing some type of drinking like game or something like that, and you're not a part of that. So that's when it becomes like, well, I'm just gonna sit in the corner on my phone, just just be there and not really do anything. That's when it starts to get really boring. At the beginning, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting because I'm gonna see that this weekend. Well, I don't know, because I have a cheat day, so I might use it. I probably will use it this weekend. I'm not sure which day though, but I don't know. I think like I guess what we were saying ties together. It's probably a good thing that you don't drink, because if you did drink, you'd probably be like, oh, now I'm not anxious anymore, and then you'd be like, oh, I can fix my anxiety by drinking, and then that's how you end up with the problem. So I guess it goes full circle. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's just a fun experience. But again, we all come from like different backgrounds. So for me, like going away and going to college and just hanging out with the people that I did made me see it in a certain light. Josh growing up with his circumstances made him see it in a certain light. And then Marco with your, I don't know what made you.
Okay, so I've never had like any type of bad experiences in the past as a family member or someone I know. I've never had any type of bad experiences with alcohol. Honestly, part of a lot of the reason is I know it's an acquired taste, but I don't want to acquire the taste. I'm just like, it tastes bad. I'd rather just drink something I enjoy, like Gatorade or just water. And usually with stuff like that, I mean, that's mainly what I drink: water, Gatorade, stuff like that. But at a party, I do see what Kyle means about just coming out of my shell more and talking to people. And now, in general, I try to talk to more people, be more social, and lost a bunch of, like, I guess, the anxiousness I used to have, because I used to have that just going out in general. Like, if I went, I could not be alone waiting for, like, someone, because I would think everyone would be looking at me, and it would be really weird. And now, I can just be there, wait. I know no one's like paying attention to me. I'm just there waiting for a group of people. And coming back to, I guess, the alcohol thing, I mean, my main reason is just I just don't like the taste of it. I mean, I've tried some things where it doesn't taste bad, but to me, I could just go enjoy something else that tastes better. And at kickbacks, I mean, I have fun at them, and usually I'm the designated driver, so it's probably better that I don't drink, because I know I could handle one drink, maybe like a couple that aren't too big on the alcohol or just have too much alcohol in them, and be fine driving. But I just don't want to risk getting pulled over for something that has nothing to do with my driving. Maybe like a lights out and they just test me for like was a breathalyzer, and it just says, oh, I'm technically drunk even though I feel completely fine, because that has happened to people before, I think.
Oh no, nothing. Nothing. Yeah, just this weekend, Marco got peer pressured pretty hard. We were at a bar with a friend of ours and two of his friends that we didn't know, and they were pressuring Marco pretty hard to drink something. No.
All right, so normally I feel like just one that I don't really ever drink or have ever had like a full alcoholic drink where I got one, finished the entire thing. I feel like everyone just wants to see me drunk in general, just because everyone's just curious, what would I be like? And so everyone's just telling me, just get a Jack and Coke. And Kyle over here was also doing the same thing. It's normally happens, but I'm used to it, and makes sense. But he did, like, I ended up getting, I think it was like a Jack and Coke, and I drank a little bit of it, but I'm just like, man, I don't enjoy this. I just gave it to Kyle. I'm like, here you go. And so he finished that.
I told him from the start, I was like, look, you can get the drink, but you are driving, so like just drink as much as you want, and then I'll just drink the rest. Oh.
I don't know. We just need to get him on the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Jack and Coke.
Yeah, no. I feel like me and Kyle have been talking a lot, so I was like saying we need to get Josh more in the conversation. Just since he's not at these things, I don't know. I just feel like we're taking over the podcast a little too much right now.
The party type can't relate.
True. I mean, he's not the party type, but. All right, I'm just gonna give it back to Kyle just to continue on with what he was saying.
Yeah, so continuing on to that, I think another reason we went on the cleanse is because recently I went on a road trip. So I'm gonna segue this into my road trip story because I've been planning. I wanted to go on a road trip with a lot of my friends for like all my life. It's been like a big goal of mine always. I've always wanted to go on like, like a big like cool road trip. And so I think it was all left on me to plan this road trip, and I'm like the worst at that. Just the worst. So for some reason, these people thought it was a good idea to let me plan this whole road trip, which was an awful idea. And so I tried to make the reservations, and everything was booked. And long story short, it was supposed to be like we're supposed to go to like 5 different locations. It's supposed to be a week long. We ended up going to two locations. It was supposed to be 2. I made reservations at 2, and I guess I'll preface this by saying initially we were supposed to leave on a Thursday, yeah? But what ended up happening is I couldn't get any reservations until Sunday. And so I told my friends, don't come until Saturday. You can spend the night at my house Saturday. We leave Sunday morning. Apparently they didn't get that memo. So Thursday morning I wake up, or Thursday afternoon I wake up because I sleep in. And it was like 1 p.m. I was still asleep. I wake up to a call saying, hey, we're in San Antonio. And I'm just like, fuck. Because my parents don't have any idea these people are coming. I have a driving test the next morning at 8 a.m. And they're here. And I'm just like, I can't house them here. Like, there's just no way. So I tell them, like, look, can y'all get a motel? And they're like, I guess. So I pay for the motel for them to stay there. They pay for the motel, but I pay for the full price of the reservations. We were supposed to split it, but I was like, look, I'll pay the full price of the reservations. Just buy a motel for the night. So they do that. They come the next day, and then the whole trip was just like, it was rough because since we didn't have anything to do till Sunday, I was like, I'll throw a party on Saturday, right? Throw a little get together, a little kickback for the boys. And because they're from Corpus. My Corpus friends and my San Antonio friends really don't mingle. Like, I've never introduced them to each other. So I decided to throw a party, and I do it kind of impromptu. But we get a decent amount of people to show up. No girls come through. Just dudes. There's supposed to be, a good amount of girls. None of them came. So it's just dudes. Just dudes drinking, which is unfortunately what happens a lot out here. So we're drinking, we're having a good time, playing some beer pong, we're all in the pool. My friend James ends up pounding like 6 Smirnoff Ices, because I iced him twice. If you don't know what icing is, it's where you hide a Smirnoff Ice somewhere, and if your friend sees that or touches it, they have to go down on one knee and chug it all in one go. And so I was trying to get Joaquin, my other friend, but James found both of them because he's an idiot. And after that, he just went for it. He got fully wasted. It was like 9:30 p.m. And he was like just completely shit-faced. And then my parents were getting mad because he was shit-faced. We wanted to go to a restaurant. James threw up all over my back porch. It was a nightmare. We ended up staying out really late. And we came back the next day. We were supposed to leave, mind you, early Sunday, right? And we wake up fully hungover. And it's like 1 p.m. and we have to go all the way to Guadalupe River State Park. And so we do. And we buy supplies along the way, charcoal and whatnot. And we still had plenty of beer from the party. So we brought that too. And we get to the place, and they're like, you can't have charcoal fires here. So we're just like, oh, fuck. So we brought all this food to cook. And we had to drive 25 miles to the nearest Walmart and buy a $60 gas grill so we could cook our food, even though we just bought a $10 bag of charcoal. And we had to assemble it in the back of my friend's car because there was no light. By the time we got back, it was dark. And so we literally had no light. And this was like a big assembly thing to make this grill. Like, we had to build it in the back of his car. And it was not an easy feat. It took us like 2 hours in the back of his car. And it was just generally, the trip wasn't what any of us thought it was going to be. I think we all had different ideas of what we wanted to do. And then I got a noise complaint because we were yelling at raccoons because we thought we were alone out there, but there was like an old man and he reported us. And then we had beer and I had been drinking, so she was like, I can like arrest you for like providing the minors, but I was like, they haven't been drinking. So it was like a dicey situation, but luckily they hadn't been drinking at all. And I hadn't been drinking much at all because she came, it was like midnight and we had just started. So we got away with it. Or they hadn't been drinking, so we didn't really get away with anything. She was just lenient enough to be like, okay, look, I'll get you for the noise complaint. But I still have to pay a fee for it. I got a citation. I got a ticket. I still have to pay it. So that's my road trip story. And so, but basically that's just so that segued into the cleanse idea, because I mean, so from like Friday night to like fucking until Tuesday, I just been drinking like every day, like a lot, because it was just like road trip vibes, I guess. But then it was so bad. And we have a friend, I don't know, I'm not gonna name drop him here, but he's an alcoholic. and I spent some time with him last spring break. And I just remember every morning we would wake up like fully super hungover, and he would just come by with this bottle of Fireball and be like, "Time for breakfast." He's like, "You can't get a hangover if you keep drinking." And so I thought that was like insane. But on this road trip, it made sense, because it was like we were hiking and we were going tubing and all this shit, and I'd wake up so hungover that I'd just be like, "Oh, I guess I'll just drink on the river." And then it just felt gross, and it was nasty. So after that I was like, yeah, no, it's time for like a cleanse. I'm gonna go sober for a while. So that's what we're doing. And then Marco, I don't know why he wanted to do this, just generally health reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to lose a little bit of weight, and when shirts fit you a little tighter, you're like, okay, I gotta change something. That's kind of the main reason. But yeah, that's how that started. And I actually wanna, cause I was at Kyle's when he had his friends from Corpus come, and it was a very interesting night. I had met his friend Joaquin before, because I go to Corpus and visit sometimes, hang out, just get out of the city. And I'd met James for the first time, and let me just say, he chugs everything, even the water. He just, it was like, all right, here's a bottle of water, just chugged it. And when he did throw up, that was, let's just say, Kyle and them left him with me to watch. Like, left me to watch him so they could go get food from a place called Taco Palenque that is very far from his house.
Fucking bomb.
And so yeah, I was there when he threw up. It was not a sight that I want to see again. And then later that night, I obviously left to go home, and yeah, they kind of just left his friend passed out at his house. And I just wanted to add that in because I think it's just an important part of the story.
Yeah, it was an important part of the story. That's why we all woke up feeling like ass the next day and for the next 3 days. But yeah, so it was a fun trip. It just wasn't exactly what we expected it to be. And then we got rained out on the last day too. So we were supposed to go to Jacob's Well, but we couldn't even do that because we got rained out. But the road trip was fun. And then, I mean, yeah, my summer's been very eventful. I've done a lot this summer. I got my driver's license. I've done a lot of fun activities with the boys, and just like gone to some good parties. Went on the road trip. I would rate this summer very highly. Well, what about y'all? So far, it's only the beginning of July, but it's about halfway.
I mean, I've had a pretty good summer. I've obviously been trying to go out more, and then the band's doing good. We're able to play a few more shows. That's the main thing that I enjoy about this summer, is just doing like shows. Usually we have a decent amount of time in between shows, and even though I'm in school, everyone like has a job, but I'm the one in school, and it's not too big of an issue for me since shows are usually on weekends. But just this summer, this is the first time we've been having like back-to-back shows. Usually it's like a show, month break, show, month break, but this time we had show last month, have a show coming up. So I'd have to rate the summer as, being just really good.
As for me, my summer's been going pretty well. I hang out with these guys a lot. Hang out with another friend of mine, that I've known since like middle school. We've been hanging out more, and then just working a lot. That's pretty much it. But I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how the rest of the summer goes. We got some big things coming up. Marco's show is coming up. His band playing when?
July 13th.
July 13th. I recently went to his show for the first time. One of his shows for the first time. Me and Josh both did. It was a cool experience. Went in the pit for a little bit. Got fucking clocked in the face, but it was worth it. It was fun. Josh went pretty crazy in there. But yeah. So just tell us about that. Like, what's it like? You know what? What's it like? What do you do in a typical day of a show? Like, what do you do like before you go on? Like, how long are you at the venue? Like, what are you doing?
Okay, so it depends. When it comes to like local shows, it kind of depends on the venue. So the venues my band's played is a venue called Alamo City Music Hall, and some people still call it Backstage Live because that was the original name of it. And then the other I think the other place we played is called a place called Jack's Patio Bar, and so there are two different experiences for playing shows there. At Jack's Patio Bar, usually we get there when like doors open for people to actually go in. But at Alamo City Music Hall, I'm usually there all day. So bands have a time to go load their gear and kind of set up a little bit beforehand. And so that's how it is at Alamo. And that's kind of the main thing. So I'm usually there if we don't go on till like 9, say we don't go on till 9. I'm usually there from like 3 to 9. And that's usually how it is. The hard part about being in a band to me is one, waiting kind of all day. I mean, we can go do stuff, but parking's kind of a pain because we just park in the front of the venue, move all our stuff out. And so I don't want to move because I don't want to have to deal with parking because the nearest parking lot is like a mile down. Or I'm not used to being downtown too much, so I don't know where all the parking spots are. And the other main thing is actually putting everything on stage, because depending on the stage, if it's like a side stage opposed to main stage, because Alamo City has two stages, like the tequila bar area, which is the smallest stage, and then main stage we just roll everything up. They have a nice ramp, but the smallest stage I usually get help too, which is cool. Like my band always helps me move my cabinet, which is the heaviest part, which is a 4x12 cab, and that's kind of, I don't know, the experience can be kind of boring waiting, and then kind of starting to get a little like anxious. And usually we try to warm up before we actually go on, so like fingers are in chord. I need to do that. I don't, but I should, just so like fingers are in cold, or like vocals, make sure you warm up your voice, because I usually do screams, which I sometimes do, sometimes don't. And that's kind of, I don't know, my experience before a show. Now that we actually have things we can sell, like shirts, some guitar picks that I had made for the band, stuff like that, we kind of try to be by the table, talk to people, try to sell some merch, just so we can pay for like studio time, stuff like that. But that didn't start till recently. So usually it's just show up at the venue, unload everything, put it kind of on the side of the stage, and then kind of go out and talk to people, try to get more people who may have not heard about you go to see you if they're already there, if they went to go see another band, because sometimes people would just go to see that one band that they want to see, or that asked them to come. And really the only other big thing is, at least in my opinion, is tallies. So usually for local shows, and this is all new to me, so when you have someone come in, they usually ask like who you're there to see. And so the more tallies you get means, you brought more people, and that's usually a good sign. But I guess I want to ask Josh, like, because he's been out of my friends, he's the one who's been to most of the shows we've played. So I just want to ask him what he thinks of, I guess, compare the shows in a way. Just like compare, like, I guess your experience at the different shows.
I think when was the last show again?
It was
Last
June 23rd.
like June 23rd.
A few weeks ago.
I want to say that one was probably the most funnest. Funnest is a word, right? Yeah. Most fun. Funnest, yeah, that's not a word. Yeah, it was the most fun. Because for me it was like the homie hang. It was me, our buddy Joseph, our buddy Christian, Kyle was there, of course. I'm missing anybody? I feel like okay, no, that was it. But it just felt like the homie hang, and like it was cool. Like all the homies seeing one homie play on stage, and to me that was like fun. That was really cool. Actually, wait, no, okay, no. Maybe I take that back. Maybe that was the second most fun. The first one was definitely the one where you guys played at Jack's Bar. Well, at least for me, cause like that I think down we had more people. It was more homies. It was because okay, so one of my best buds, Copil, which is the other friend I was talking about that in Houston's middle school, he's also in a band, and his band's called the Cherry Cola Club, and his band actually did a gig with Marco's band, Lucid City, and it was crazy because it was like both of my homies on one stage in one building. It was crazy. It was really crazy to me. Like, I don't know. It meant a lot to me because it was like, I don't know. I feel like that doesn't really happen that often. Like, you have two homies, bands, like, play in the same. I don't know. To me, it was a big deal. And so it was a lot of us, whole gang of us, seeing that show, and it was really fun. And then after that, there was an after party. Marco unfortunately didn't attend because communication was off that night. But it was cool. After party, we're just chilling. Everyone came after the show, and it was just really fun. So, oh man, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I'm confirming it. That was the first, like, number one, like the most fun. Second one was the backstage live at Alamo City Music Hall gig. But as far as the show, I feel like as every gig you guys have, specifically Lucid City, I feel like the chemistry builds and builds more and more, and that's good. And I feel like also you guys will I don't know, just progress more, and like how do I say this? I don't know. I feel like you guys will just get like more chemistry and you know put on better shows because it was fun. But, okay, so like let me say this real quick. So there was this band that played before Marco's band, Lucid City, right? Okay, I was so upset because this band, I forgot the name, but this band had the coolest thing ever. I don't know, call me corny, but on this band's last song, they had all of their homies. I assume it was all their homies. I don't know if, or maybe they're random people. I don't know, but they literally had like 5, 6, 7 people on. Okay, that doesn't sound like that many people, but it was a small stage. So 5, 6, 7 people plus the band, that's like 10, 12 people on one little small stage. And it looked like fun. And everyone had their phones out, updating their Snapchats or whatever that they do. And like they were just like jumping up and down, like yelling the words. They probably didn't even know the lyrics, but they were just like pretending to yell in the mic. Like to me, that was cool. And so then after that, I was telling my homies, Kyle, Joseph, everyone, I was like, we got to do that. We can't like let them show us up like that. Like we gotta do something cool like that, you know. And so, God dang, man. Like, okay, so I think it was like the second to last song Marco's band was playing, and Kyle was in and out of the pit. I was kind of in and out too, but I was like really going ham because I used to go. I mean, I feel like I still go hard in the pits, but maybe it's not hard as I used to like a year or two ago, or maybe even like more than that. But I still try to give it my all in the pit. But anyway, yeah. So I was telling Kyle, my buddy Joseph, I was like, we gotta go up on stage for Marco's band because the previous band did that. Like we can't let them do that. And so I'm trying to tell Kyle, all right, let's do it. Kyle's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. And so I guess the communication was off that night too. Yeah. I don't know. Definitely. Anyway, long story short, I finally get the timing right. I'm like, okay, cool. So this is the part of the song where I know I can go on stage. And so I give Kyle like the nod, like the homie nod, you know what I'm saying? Like the homie nod, like, like the nod where it says a lot, like, come with me, or like, let's roll, like, that nod. I'll give him one of those nods. And so then I run up stage and I jump on stage and I'm like crossing my toes and my fingers that like I don't get in trouble or something. But I'm just like bumping. I want to like do something fun. And so I I'm on all fours. I'm on all fours. See, I'm getting hype already just thinking about it because it was fun, right? So I'm on all fours. I get up. I turn around. I'm the only guy up on stage. And I look at Kyle and Joseph, and they're way in the back. And I'm like, dude, that's some fake homies. Like, that is not cool. And so I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going to own it. And everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like when people, what's it called? Streak the field? Like, when they go on I felt like that guy. Everyone was looking at me like, bro, you're not supposed to do that. Like, it was like some sacred stage, or I don't know. I was like, bro, I'm going to own it. So I'm there jumping. I'm, like, pretending I know the words. And, like, I'm like, yeah. Well, not to that song. I'm like, yeah. And so then I jump off stage, and oh man, I let Kyle and Joseph hear it. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, that was whack. Like, you guys had to come up on stage with me, and they were just like, wow, well, I don't know what I wasn't even paying attention to them. I was so mad. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So that's my whole spill on that.
I think a lot of firsts happened at that show because crowd, a lot of local shows. I remember the band, I believe they were the headliner, called Across the Atlantic, and really good music. It was actually their like comeback show because they didn't have a vocalist for a bit, and so it was really cool. We went on after, so I think one thing about local shows that I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't played too many, but I feel like where you are in the set list kind of like helps kind of determine what the crowd's going to be. So, going on after the headliner, a lot of people go, for the headliner, and then you leave after. I've done that a few times. Sometimes I stay, sometimes I don't. It's kind of a weird thing. But I know this show overall, I think like we had like a much bigger mosh pit. We still had a decent crowd, which was really cool. We had, I think, a very decent mosh pit. I know since I saw how crazy the last show was, I'm like, all right, screw it. In the middle of like our heaviest song, I jumped off stage and started like playing the song while moshing into people. It was really fun. I still see Kyle Joseph in the back. I'm like, oh my god. It was really cool though. Like, at least for that one pit, I'm trying to find a video of it, but I can't find one of Kyle getting elbowed in the face, and I'm really trying to find one.
So, while we're on the subject of music, Marco and I are going to an event called the Warped Tour. It's this Saturday, San Antonio, Texas. And so this is like where I get kind of confused. It's the last full cross-country tour. And from what I'm getting at it's the last one. And I remember it so vividly. Me and Marco were in so this is gonna be like, where were you when Michael Jackson died? This is gonna be, where were you when you found out Warped Tour is gonna be over? So I was at Marco's what would you call it, band garage practice. Hold up, Marco's gotta say something.
All right, so I'm gonna give Josh back the mic in a second so he can talk about where we were at. But just the setting wise, we were, at the time, my band had a storage unit that we got to practice. So I'm just going to give it back to him so he can continue with what he was saying.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for the assist, Marco. I don't know why I said garage. Storage unit. Yeah, duh. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. So where were you when you found out that Warped Tour is gonna be over? All right. So my answer to that is, so yeah, I was with my buddy Marco in his storage unit where his band practices, and was it you that told me? I think you're on your phone, just scrolling, just just to because we're tired or whatever. I don't know. Well, so Marco was just scrolling on his phone, or whatever, and I was probably playing the drum set or I don't know, just doing something random, just enjoying my day, hanging with the homie, playing some music, right? And then Marco's like, oh my god, like 10 times before he even said anything. I said, what happened? What happened? What happened? And then Anthony told me, he said the Warped Tour, it's gonna be over, and I was like let me just put into perspective, like to some people that might not know what Warped Tour is or like doesn't really care. Let me tell you in words how much Warped Tour meant to me. Like I wanted to take my kids to Warped Tour. I wanted to be that really weird dad that like was like a Warped Tour veteran and like been to all of them, but like still wasn't over it. And I wanted to wear like an old like emo screamo band T-shirt and like just like embarrass my kids and be like, yeah, I remember I used to go to Warped Tour back in my day. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be that dad. I just wanted to be that cool, and it's not gonna happen no more. Like I'm not like my kids aren't gonna like. I don't know. I just like a lot of people also say like, rock and roll's dead and this and that. But I feel like that's a whole nother tangent. But yeah. So like. Damn, I kind of lost my train of thought on this one. I forgot what my main point was. But, oh, yeah, that's right. No, I forgot it again. But, yeah. Oh, Warped Tour. That's right. So yeah. Warped Tour. Anyway. Okay, so, yeah. Me and Mark are going to go to the last Warped Tour, I guess. I don't know. Cross country. It's the last one, right? I mean, it's... Okay. Okay, well, whatever. So, yeah. So, me and Marco got the tickets. Now, one might be wondering, well, what about Kyle? The third member of the podcast, right? Well, funny thing you should ask is, so as you guys know, if you guys listened to our first episode, me, Kyle, Marco have been friends since high school, right? Okay, well, me and Marco have been going to our tour for consecutive, number of years, and Kyle every year likes to get us all excited, likes to get us all moist, and tell us that he's going every year. And you know what? It's ingrained in my brain so much, like I can reenact it. Yeah. I'm gonna go over toward this year. Yeah. And he says it just the exact way, same way every year. Well, he never comes through. And unfortunately, Kyle made the announcement that he's not coming. Well, actually, no, I give him credit for that because he actually confessed and said, "Okay, I'm not going this year," or whatever. She straight up said, "I'm not going," because every year it's been, "I'm gonna go," and then the day of, he's just like, "Nah, I'm not gonna go." So I give him props. He actually told me way ahead of time that he's not gonna go. So that's cool. Yeah, but whatever. I'm over it. I'm not even hurt anymore. But Kyle, we are going. Me and Marco are going to. We made our own little post final Warped Tour after party. It's gonna be a little hang. There might be drinks involved. I don't know yet. Maybe, probably. Kyle might use his cheat day on that bet he has on that day. I'm using my cheat day. Yeah, so, and we're just going to hang, probably talk about Warped Tour or whatever, and I'll probably cry a little bit because, well, it's the last one, so. But, so, let me pass the mic to Marco, because I think he was going to explain to me what this whole cross-country thing, because I'm still confused about it. So, I insinuate you've done some deeper research or something, or?
I've done a little bit. Okay, so, basically, the reason why you might be confused about it is... From Kevin Lyman and, the person who made Warped Tour, he obviously made the post that this would be the last cross-country Warped Tour. Now, when you say that, you're like, oh, it's going to be the last Warped Tour. Now, people read, because it said last cross-country Warped Tour. So everyone started speculating, oh, no, it's not ending. It just means it's not going to go everywhere like it normally does. It's going to be like maybe only in this part of the U.S. or this part. And
maybe just in California, because isn't that where like they're based?
yeah, or something like that. Like, well, it might just be in California. And that's what the speculation has been. But from what I understand, it's the last Warped Tour ever. Like that's what it's being promoted as and sound. Josh is very sad. Actually, the interesting thing is I'm also very sad. First Warped Tour, you know, that's when I discovered like bands like Hands Like Houses. I remember first band I ever saw at Warped Tour was Hands Like Houses.
Supporting the emo scene.
Was Hands Like Houses and
Hey, no, let me hold on. Hey. If you're the age between 19 to 22, you're either a snapback cargo pant wearing little homie in the middle school, or you're either the emo kid. Man, I pray for you if you're the emo kid, man, because they're taking away our Thanksgiving. They're taking away our Christmas, basically. They're taking away Warped Tour, man. Like, hey, man, rest in peace, dog. Rest in peace to my homies.
It's such a weird holiday to pick. Taking away everything.
it's very emotional for us right now.
We ain't gonna eat no more, man.
Very emotional. Thank you, Josh, for that statement. No, but like in reality, I remember because first Warped Tour I was doing guitar lessons somewhere, so I ended up getting there at like 3, but still got to see the bands I wanted. But I remember right when I walked through, Josh just grabs me. He's like, "We need to go see this band called Hands Like Houses." I was like, you know what? I had never listened to them point, and he just drags me over there, and I'm like, well, fuck, I've been missing a lot of shit. And I thought the show was amazing. Like that was like the first concert that I've actually been like a standing crowd, because I've seen like Santana and people like that, but yeah, usually it's like sitting. Some people are standing. It's not as crazy.
Hands Like Houses, remember they brought out Tyler?
And then at this point, I didn't know Issues and Tyler Carter because I was really just kind of getting into the genre. I'd listened to it before, but I hadn't really delved into a lot of the band. And so Tyler Carter comes out on stage for the song, I think, Lion Skin, and Josh just starts going crazy. I'm like, and mind you, I'd never listened to Issues at this point.
I got real moist.
As you can see, he got real moist. But I mean, I thought that was just such a cool experience. That was my first time ever being in like a crazy pit, which was Bring Me Horizon live. Crowd was crazy. That was the first time I experienced being like in a crowd standing where it's hot as hell, and then putting your arm up or something, and the temperature's completely different. I'm like, oh my god. But it was one of the fucking best concerts I've ever been to. Was that first Warped Tour. I remember, I think, during like Black Veil Brides or something. I forgot who it was. It was before. Yeah, they called out like some person. I was actually thinking, are they calling out me or something? Because
wasn't it someone we knew?
It was someone. It was someone from actually our school that was right in front of me, and like as he's walking, the guy keeps the singer Andy Bierstadt kept talking. I'm like, damn. But yeah, and then this Warped Tour, I actually tried to get on this Warped Tour through my band. So normally Warped Tour, and this is one of the reasons why I'm sad, is I always wanted to be in a band. Finally getting a band, I'm like, all right, my first big goal, and it might sound weird to people, but was to play Warped Tour, be a band on Warped Tour, going every city. And when I found out it was anyone, I was like, son of a bitch, man. That just crushed that dream. And normally Warped Tour does Ernie Ball Battle of the Bands. Ernie Ball is a company that makes instruments, guitar strings, and usually they host a Battle of the Bands for someone to, I think it's different every year. I remember there being like a Battle of the Bands stage like my first year, and then I remember like last year, 2 years ago, it was to play main stage, and you'd get this much, like this equipment, like a year worth of strings, like 3 to 5 song EP was a producer. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll do that, try to get on Warped Tour, you know, like regardless of if we did it or not, if we tried, it's better than just saying, no, we're not going to get it. Because you never know is these things. and never heard anything about it. Then finally, the Full Sail stage was doing all local bands. Basically, it sounded like for that one stage, maybe like one, because I remember seeing online that's how, and it was going through Reverb Nation to submit your band to play. And I was really, it was just bad timing to me. Like, I feel like we would have had a better chance, but I was really confused on how it works. Because normally there's some type of voting where you go somewhere, vote for this band or vote for this band. And it just seemed like where you just had to promote and they pick whoever. And that was just bad timing for us because we didn't have the EP out. We had most of the songs mixed, but yeah, I was like, but in the end, I was just thinking, all right, if we get it, then it's cool. I get to play the last Warped Tour for San Antonio. And if not, all right, I get to enjoy the last Warped Tour with a bunch of my friends, and we just hang out. Actually, Kyle, do you want any thoughts on us trying to pressure you to go to Warped Tour with us?
I feel like I've always been like down to go to Warped Tour, but I don't really like any like the musician. Like, it's just not like my scene. But, like, I do like you know, like going to concerts just because, like, I like the energy. I like to just, like, go hard in there. But, I don't know. It's, like, $60. And then every year, it's just, like, it comes up. It always seems to come up way faster than I think it will. And then I'm just, like, I don't really want to spend this much money to just go, like, I don't know. It's not, like, I'm not dying to see anyone there. So, it's always just kind of, like, for me. It's never, like, something I really, really want to do. So I feel like that's why I've never actually gone. I was going to go this year, and then I was just like, same thing. It was like it crept up so fast, and then I was just like, it's money to go, and it's just like, it's a whole hassle. So it's like, But that's why I usually don't go. I feel like if it was happening again next year, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll go next year.
Oh my god.
But I mean, obviously. But
and then we're next year into the podcast. You know, I think next year's my year. Next year.
2020 is for sure the year I'm going to Warped Tour. For sure. 2020 is my year for Warped Tour. So, but yeah. So, is there anything else we want to talk about? We've gone for an hour. Yeah, that's impressive. This is about where we cut it off last time. No, we gotta do a conclusion. I guess that's gonna do it for this week. This week was it was a good week. It was a little disjointed, I feel like, but that's fine. So hopefully next week we'll actually post next week. And I guess for this week, this is an Off the Map podcast, and we'll see y'all next week.
Off the map. That was our outro.
I know, but he didn't go for it. That was supposed to be a.
You didn't give us a signal.
You just came over. I know what you're gonna do. You're just like,
all right,
just off the map.